Welcome to another edition of the Burrow podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm joined by co-hosts, Cody, CJ, and Zane.
Hello.
Cody, how was Magic Round, mate?
Magic Round was excellent. It's always fun to be a part of it. That was my third consecutive year going up. Across the 3 days, and I was a part of Sunrise with Katie Brown and the Sunrise crew, which that was a lot of fun to do. Across 2 days as well. I didn't expect to do two, but it was a lot of fun, and wish I can say the same about our team for Saturday, but it wasn't to be. But overall, a lot of fun for Magic Round.
Have you dried out from the weather up there on Saturday?
Oh, it was a bloody pain. I mean, the broadcast said like it wasn't going to rain at all, and then obviously pissed us down as soon as our game begins. Or not when the Knights score their first two tries, but
came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah. And talk about your YouTube channel that you got.
Yep, so I have a YouTube channel called Cody's Footy World, which I have been doing since 2020, but 2021 as for NRL content. I currently have around 1,700 subscribers and continuing to grow my channel. I do NRL tipping videos each week, live streams to either watching the games or tipping videos as well, and also I do NRL vlogs where I go to every single game to wherever it's in Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, or even in Melbourne. But that is pretty much what I do for my channel, and I enjoy it a lot.
We'll definitely put a link up there in the description for people to go and follow you on that. And Zane, whereabouts did you watch the game on the weekend?
I watched it right here in this living room, actually, on the big TV. And, yeah, I mean, I was optimistic. I thought, the Knights were, they've looked pretty ordinary this year. I thought we were in for a red-hot crack, but it was all over in about 15 minutes when we were completely destroyed by Fletcher Sharp. But, yeah, I was watching it right here. It looks like really nice weather at first, but then all of a sudden the heavens just opened, and it wasn't until the commentators pointed it out that I noticed. I was like, oh, wow, this has changed very quickly.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I was up at the back of the bay, so we didn't get the too much of the rain up there. But a couple of weeks ago, you went. Was it Vietnam you went to?
Yes, I did. Yes.
What was that like?
Yeah, that was really nice. It wasn't as hot as what I was expecting it to be. It was actually quite wet for the first few days, but that was sort of the main reason why I didn't head to Magic Round this year. I didn't know where I was going to be financially by then. I probably could have made it in the end, but at the time. But yeah, Vietnam was beautiful. Unfortunately, I did have to miss 2 Rabbitohs games due to it, especially when we beat the Roosters. But at the same time, it was good to get off the plane and have positive news after a very long and
that was a great experience. The Roosters game. I think the other guys can vouch for that. Yes. How good the atmosphere was that day.
Yeah, I think I've got to stay away from the Roosters games because we've actually never beaten the Roosters when I've been in attendance at the ground. So I think I'm a little bit of a curse. So,
well, you also dabble in the social media with TikTok. Tell us about your TikTok channel.
Yeah, so I began doing the TikTok. It was about 2019, the back end of that season. This was before TikTok really blew up to what it was then. It was still only growing, and I was only 14 at the time, and I sort of just made videos about rugby league at the time, just like out of fun, because there wasn't really much rugby league on the platform at the time. It was, the old school dances, but since then it just kept growing and growing, and over the years, I think I'm at roughly 30,000 now. I'm like, it's kicking on, so...
Wow, definitely. We'll give that a plug in and put that in the description as well for people to follow. And CJ, welcome back, mate. You've been missing for a while, and what have you been up to?
Look, unfortunately, just some medical things recently. Recently had a blood clot in one of the lungs, so that was tough. But other than that, it's been good. Just staying in the loop with rugby league, Rabbitohs. Watched the game from home. Pretty disappointing, but with the player injuries we have, I guess it was expected in a way.
Well, I think I can speak for us all to say we have missed you here, and great to have you back. But you do a bit of work for Bunnings TV with Mavo. Yes. You've been on a few times. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so how it started was Mavo reached out to me, and he just wanted to do a bit of an interview, getting to know me and who I am, what I do. And I agreed to that, and ever since then we built a relationship, a friendship, and being on Bunny's TV, it's pretty surreal because I was a big fan of it when it first started. So to be able to do it, he said I'm welcome on any time, so it's really good. It's an interesting experience because you're in front of the big cameras and the microphones. You get up and close with the personnel and the players, and yeah, it's a surreal experience. And obviously, Mabo being a former player of ours, he always has some good stories. So
He does, I
it's
mean,
good to hear.
I've been writing for the last couple of years for them. I've been a bit slack this year because I've got a lot of things going on with the Burrow and that, and getting things like this podcast off the ground and that. But anyway, it is Teamless Tuesday. We'll just quickly go through the team. We got fullback. We got Latrell Mitchell. We got Bailey Bentley Harpy and Fletcher Myers on the wings. In the centres, we got Isaiah Tass, Campbell Graham. The halves, we got Bud Sullivan, and we also welcome back, not too soon, is Jamie Humphries.
The
The
Great
go.
props,
news.
Great
yeah,
news.
the props are Jai Arrow and Keon Kalamatangi.
I love that. I love
Big fan.
Jairo there.
Saliva Havili comes back after a week off and replaces the injured Pete Mamazelos. We'll talk about the injuries a bit later. Ewan Aiken moves to the second row with Tallis Duncan, and Lockie Hubner's the lock on the bench. We got Jai Gray in the 14, Sean Kepi, Davey Moali, and Liam LeBlanc. And on the extended bench is Junior Totola, Lewis Dodd, Josh Schuster, Shaq Mitchell, and we welcome back also Jacob Host, who's been missing for a while. I'll get your thoughts first, Zane, on this side.
Yeah, so obviously it's decimated with injuries, but seems to be a real revamp in the forwards this week. Jairo moving the prop and along with Kaloa Matangi, which I am a big fan of Jairo playing up prop. That's probably my favourite position for him to play in, right down the middle. Because I feel like when he's on the edge, I wouldn't say he's wasted on the edge, but I feel like he offers so much grunt and aggression when he plays in the middle of the field. And he doesn't really get as much of an opportunity to do that playing on the edge. And that's why I'm very happy to see him playing prop, because I feel like we really need it, especially against this forwards pack, some aggression, because I feel like that really lacked last week.
I also feel that at Lock he was expected to do a lot of the ball playing, whereas now he can concentrate more on just doing
Running
the dirty
hard
stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Any other shocks there for you?
Well, I was also shocked by Totola not being in the side. I don't know if he's injured or if he's just been dropped, but that was a very strange decision to see him out of the team. I don't know if you guys have heard any reasons why he's out, if it's an injury he's carrying or he's
Someone
just been
said sickness, but I
sickness.
don't know
Yeah.
how true that actually is.
Well, someone mentioned that he didn't actually train today, so it could possibly be an injury. We don't know.
And of
But
course,
it is certainly a shock selection there.
yeah.
However, maybe it's a statement that Wayne's trying to make. We've certainly, I found last week with our starting forwards.
Yeah, they were very
It was we were struggling there,
defensively.
and yeah,
It was
and
very poor.
once Lockie Hubner and Liam LeBlanc come on, that tightened right
Yeah,
up.
and Mawali, when they came on,
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
I
really
thought our
made an
bench was
impact.
very effective
Mm.
when they came on, and look, they tightened up the ship like you said. We didn't concede as much. We looked a bit more tidy than we did to start the game, and yeah, it could be a statement from Wayne, which I think Junior even said in the press conference last week. We need to go home and have a reality check, and it might just come full circle.
Well, I got a message from someone that was at training, and their response was with Keane. It was like it looked like Wayne put a rocket up him. So the message is quite clear to a lot of the forwards, and something had to happen. The halves with Jamie Humphries back and having Bud Sullivan at 6. Cody, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's great to see that Jamie's finally back after a 4-week hiatus with his hamstring back against the Roosters game. But it was interesting to see that Sullivan's still playing the halves despite he hasn't played the best. But it's actually good to see he's in his proper position. Jamie is a definite halfback. Like his kicking game at the start of the year has been exceptional. But we've been lacking that kicking meter and the big kicks as well. But no, I reckon it's great to have them both in the halves, and it's just excellent.
I think you hit the nail on the head there with the kicking game was lacking, and last week we've seen Bud doing most of the kicking. He still kicked for over 500 metres, but
impressive.
it was certainly he's more of a running six rather than a halfback, and we
I
lost a lot
agree.
of creativity last week. I spoke about that on the podcast, recapping the Knights game, and there's not, there was a world that possibly they could have put Jai Gray in. We don't know if Jai's playing either. He came off
Yeah.
injured, so we don't know what's happening there. But there was a stat that I read out the other day that as a starting halfback, Bud Sullivan is 0-12. So
Oh,
Oh,
put,
jeez.
putting him in the putting him
Oh,
in the six is probably a good thing. So even
I did not
even
know
though
that.
like we've got some depth in our kicking now where we'll get that, and also you got Latrella's backup, and that's another good thing with Latrell at fullback. Against the Storm, he was doing the bulk of the kicking, which took away from I thought from his game, and having Jamie Humphries there will help that.
Cowboys
Uh,
game as well. He did a lot of kicking. Troll, I remember he did
yeah,
most of the
he,
kicking
he
in that
did.
game too.
He did, and he was playing six there as well. So I feel like getting him to do that takes away from a lot of his
Yeah, you
games.
might be
So
right on that actually.
so so CJ, we've got
Yeah.
Ewan Aiken back to second row, which I think that's his best position. What are your thoughts on that? Moving out of centres and putting him in the back row.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a player that likes to get into the thick of things, as we've seen last year when he was at the Dolphins. And the one thing we get with Ewan Aiken is his versatility. And with the injury toll we have, it's great to have someone like him who can come in and fill anywhere. Oh, look, we need some covering the forwards. And I think getting someone like Ewan Aiken in there who, well, we know what sort of player he is, hardworking, good work ethic. He likes to do the dirty things as well. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Ewan Aiken in the second row. And in my personal opinion, that's where I think he should be anyway.
I think defensively, we've seen that against the Storm. He made 50 tackles against the Storm, and it's no coincidence that our defence looked a lot better on that left side when he was playing in the second row rather than centre. So that certainly helped out. Um, we've got Keon and Jai playing prop. You spoke about it briefly, Zane. Give us your thoughts on that. Bit more in depth thoughts on that.
Me.
Yes.
Oh yes. Well, Kalamatangi, I don't see him as a middle forward. I prefer him on the edge, but it's more dry arrow that I like seeing in the middle. But it seems like they've revamped the entire forward pack this week because it's completely different to what it was last round. I'm pretty sure like every position in the forward's been switched around. But Tallis Duncan starting, I like Hubner back on starting lock. I like the bench. I like Sean Kepi coming off the bench, but I could easily swap Kepi and Arrow as starting forwards because I think they both offer a lot of aggression when they come off the bench. But yeah, the forwards. But I feel like my main concern with the side this week is more the back line. I just think it's very inexperienced, and defensively, I think it could be a bit of a liability, especially against the Broncos back line, which we know how quick they can be sometimes. So that's my only real worry with this team this week. But I think the forwards revamp could work. We'll have to wait and
Well,
see though.
we spoke about it on the podcast. I spoke about it with Michael. That I said last week, out of our back seven, if we named our strongest side, we only had one player playing last week, and that was
Yeah.
Stretch, and he was playing out of position on the wing. So at least this week we got Latrell and Stretch, and also Jamie Humphrey. So that's 3 out of 7, which is better than it was last week. And Myers and Bailey Bentley Harpy on the wing. The depth in that, a lot of people probably would be saying, why not Hazen Millers, who I thought played exceptional in his first ever New South Wales Cup game last week. He's certainly a athletic, strong kid, isn't he?
Oh
Um,
yeah, you can see when he trains, he's so athletic, and look, he'll get his chance, but I think we've got to give him a run of games where
yeah,
he doesn't get an injury, so he can get his confidence back up, his match fitness back up, and he'll earn his spot.
100%. Um, and another guy that played really well in that New South Wales Cup that's very close. I think they're holding off a bit because of his match fitness, but is Josh Schuster. And I don't know if you guys watched the game, but Cody, what's your thoughts on possibly getting Josh Schuster on the bench?
yeah. I've been hearing great things with Schuster. He's scored like the last few games. He's been scoring and he's been playing at 5'8", which is usually his second position because he plays majority at back row. But I would love to see him get out on the bench, especially with our injury crisis at the moment. Should it get worse, but with still more stars returning. But he's been. I've heard he's been playing very well for the last couple of weeks, and great if he might get the chance this week. But I don't think so, but it will be great to add him on the bench for like as a backup for within the next few weeks, I reckon.
Now, what about both of you guys? What's your thoughts on Schuster possibly getting a bench spot?
Yeah,
I'd say you could definitely toss him in over Liam LeBlanc, but yeah, it's all up to match fitness. I'm pretty sure. Like he's only played one game of Cup so far, so and I've heard he was pretty solid in both those games. But I don't know how Souths are planning on using him. Are they planning on using him in the halves or having him play back row?
Well, that's the thing, but I have to disagree with you on Liam LeBlanc. I thought last week he was one
Yeah,
of our best.
but yeah,
yeah,
what
When
I
he
was
came
saying is
on,
he would be the one who'd probably go out for Schuster to come in.
well, you got possibly an injury to Jai Gray, so that could open the door
Yeah,
for
and
him.
that's that as well. So
And what about you, CJ? What are your thoughts on that? Were you down at Redfern at all the other day?
unfortunately not, but I have heard good things about Josh Schuster. Yeah, look, I think he's only been positive for the team. I think Josh Schuster. And look, despite what's happened the last few years, we're all aware of what a talent he can be and what he is. Uh, a couple of years ago, he was being talked to make the Origin squad, so you got to have some sort of talent to get that on your resume. I think he had 3 try assists last week, 4 tackle breaks a try, and 101 meters in total. So that's a good game within itself at 5'8". And that's what you get from Schuster, 5'8" back row. Look, I like him. I think he's going to be a good signing when he comes in. But like Josh said, he's just trying to get match fitness.
Yeah,
That way we can get the best version of him when he comes in eventually.
it's quite evident he is too good for that grade. You just have to see it and see how much time he has. It just shows, and it will be only a matter of time if he can get his match fitness up. I got no doubt that Wayne will be picking him. The hooking role. I mean, last minute of the game, Pete dislocates his right elbow. A horrific injury for the poor kid,
Oh,
especially when he was going so well. But we got Havili. Thankfully, we got Havili come back this week. Well, what do you see happening there? Because Havili is obviously not an 80-minute
no,
hooker.
he's
What do you guys see happening there, CJ?
ooh, Havili. Oh, okay. This is tough. Havili for me, yeah, look, I don't think he'll play 80 minutes. Maybe we can see Jai Gray slot into the 6 and Sullivan go to hooker at some
that's what
point in
I
the
was going to
game.
say as well, CJ.
Sorry there.
That's what I'm thinking will happen. Jai Gray at 14. I can only imagine he goes, yeah, that's what I think will happen sometime in the second half.
Well, there's also the case that if he's out, that Josh Schuster comes in on the bench
Well,
and does the same thing.
I'll be back.
Sorry, we just
I'm
lost
trying.
CJ for a sec, but we'll keep going
We
through.
got any other hookers in our depth that I'm trying to think of?
Ryan Gray.
Yeah, Ryan Gray's one.
But
That's
Ryan
about it.
Gray's a New South Wales Cup contracted player, so you need special.
Oh, right.
So yeah, we don't really have too many options with hookers at the moment. So
Um,
losing Mamazolis is pretty hefty, and I don't know. Like I agree with CJ. I feel like if they're going to rotate it, they'll probably move Sutton there and then bring Gray on at 5'8". But yeah, that's a very 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 confusing situation to see what they're going to do there. So
I
You
feel
got
like that's
Lockie
what you've got
Hubner
to do.
that's starting back at lock as well now, so that's another one. What are
mm,
your thoughts on that, Cody?
yeah, no, it's great to have Hubner back from his concussion a few weeks back. But I reckon they probably should have started him rather than putting him on the bench. But obviously they want to protect him or be precautious. But once he came back on last week, that he definitely one of the few players like to change the pace of the game. Although we end up getting over eventually only once. But it's great to have him start. I reckon he's better at starting, and he just brings the quality that he brings onto the field with him as well.
Last couple of weeks we've had Stretch Campbell Graham playing on the wing. I got it for the for the Melbourne game up against Coates there. Tall player on tall player. Last week I was a bit baffled why he was playing in the on the wing there against the Knights. I thought he would have been better up against Bradman Best rather than Tass, but it is what it is. But both last 2 weeks he's topped our he's been our top meter game. But then we got Fletcher Myers, who's got a bit of pace about him, doesn't he? That's good to have on the wing with Bailey Bentley Harpe retaining his spot,
mm,
which I think will only be for another week because I believe AJ's back next week, which
yeah.
I'll talk further
Yep.
on
Bentley Hape just needs some more game time. I think he's only a rookie, and that Storm game, you can't. He's a rookie, and the Storm were always going to do that to him. But in those big moments where the Storm scored their tries, it was kind of off the back of a mistake from Bentley Hape. But I think the more game time we give him, the better he's going to get as time goes on, because I think he's got a lot of potential in him.
Absolutely, he does. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, the New South Wales Cup have the bye this week. The game last week, they had a kick from the sideline to snatch a draw and were unable to do it. But they fought really hard in that game. We were leading at one stage, and the likes of Schuster and Millers and even Shaq Mitchell returned, who's Shaq's on the extended bench this week. So it's great to see him return so well. Had a great game as well. But the Flake side, there's some noticeable names in there. There's Hazen Millers, Talanoa Panatane's back. Matt Humphries, who those who don't know, he was our halfback in the SG ball side that went down in the prelim final, and Nazareth Tower. I think I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. But they're all noticeable guys that have been named in the flag side this week, so it'll be interesting to watch them. Hazen obviously just getting more game time because the New South Wales Cup have the bye, but no doubt we'll see him back in New South Wales Cup the following week. What are your thoughts on some of those names?
Yeah, Hazen Mellors is one that stands out to me. I think he's probably the closest to a debut. Matt Humphries, he was killing at the start of the year. He killed it all year, but I remember the first game at Redfern, he had like 2 assists, 2 tries within the first 10 minutes or something. He has a big future. Nazareth Toa, I haven't seen too much of him, but I've heard good things about him.
He's in our development squad as well, so the club definitely rate him very highly.
Look, we've got options there. It's just about making sure they're 100% ready. So,
well, Talanoa Panatane's just come back. He was out for a few weeks injured, so he comes back through Jersey Flegg, and he's played a few New South Wales Cup games as well.
Right, and we've seen him in the trials as well earlier this season.
Yeah. Oh, what are your thoughts on this Broncos side?
Tough.
It's strong across the park, isn't it?
Very tough.
I think the back line is where they're very I know they had a pretty bad loss last week against the Panthers, so there's no doubt in my mind they'll be up for this game. But
no doubt Madge would want it as well, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. But my big worry is the Rabbitohs' edge defence, because we saw what the Broncos did to the Bulldogs' edge defence the other week, who were basically full strength and then been quite good on their edge defensively, and Broncos completely destroyed them the other week, and that's what my big worry is how are we going to handle some of those like Katoni Staggs and Dean Mariner, who have been fantastic this year.
Is it Tass or Stretch that's marking up on?
I'll have to recheck the matchups, but if they do what they did last week,
Tass, he has his work cut out for him then.
But I feel that's his best position in the centres for Tass. He's been, he played there for a while. He's been a bit underwhelming this year, but hopefully he can start getting back to what we've seen in 2022 from him.
I think if Souths do have the same defensive structures as they did last week, Campbell Graham would be going up against Jesse Arthurs and Garment Shibrinsky. I think
Gemat Shiwazaki, who actually played one game for us against the Dragons last year.
In the soaking rain, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad for us that game. Like coming and filling in at last minute because we couldn't even fill the side, so we had to get someone outside to fill in a spot. We had to get 2 players that day. And there's a name that we're all very familiar with. We know the story too well, Adam Reynolds. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate Adam on becoming the second highest all-time point scorer. He's now 300 and something points behind Cameron Smith. And could it be possible that we could see 2 South players have those all-time records, with AJ with the try-scoring record and Adam with the point-scoring record? Could he possibly do it?
I think it'll happen. If Adam Reynolds re-signs with Brisbane next season, I think it'll happen. And AJ will get that record next season as well. I think it'll happen.
Well, we don't know what's happening with AJ yet for next year. He hasn't signed. Wayne did allude that saying that he would re-sign him, but there's a lot to happen there before.
I have a feeling with Alex Johnston that I don't think he's out the door, but I feel like Souths wouldn't be against moving him on, which would be a shame. But I just look at the depth that Souths have within the wingers now, like coming through. We got Munro, we got Myers, like we got Bentley Harpe, Alex Johnston. I feel like it could be a similar situation too with Nathan Merritt. When Souths kept him around, he broke the club record and then he moved on. Like that was his final game. I feel like we could see a similar situation with Alex Johnston, which I'd be ashamed for him to move on.
The problem is these players have to be on the field, and we've had a lot of injuries, especially with Tyrone Munro. You don't want to go ahead of yourself. Of course, we got Michaeli Ravalawa as well. That he's meant to go back to the Dragons next year, but it's a world that we can possibly say, well, we'll take you on for another year. So because he's not going back to the Dragons to play first grade, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the same sort of deal with Sullivan, isn't it? Where he has the option to go back to the Tigers, but I think it's in his favour. So
yeah, 100%. So
yeah, he'll stay at South from what I'm pretty certain he'd want to stay at South. Sullivan.
Yeah, well, Wayne certainly thinks highly of him, so there is that, and you can have a guy like that for depth. It wouldn't be too bad as long as it's for the right price.
But the thing with Johnston, I've seen a lot of people like comment on my posts. Like he's actually not as old as people think he is. Like he's only just turned 30. Like I know it feels like he's been around forever because he's scored so many tries. But he debuted when he was very young.
18 years old he was.
Yeah, but that's the reason people.
He debuted on the right wing.
Yeah, in Brisbane, I remember that one. That was
I remember
when Greg Inglis scored that try. But he's not as old as people think he actually is.
And I was surprised that, especially after the Achilles injury, that game. What was the game he come back? Was it the Roosters game?
It was the Panthers one.
Sorry, Panthers. Sorry. And when he scored that, he made a break early, put a kick through, and he seemed to still have that pace. So he hadn't slowed down much at all, which is the thing everyone was worried about. But you can't underestimate the positional play of him on the wing.
Yeah, he's
the best at it.
He's very experienced. That's what's his best attribute in this team. He just, he's scored so many tries. He's done it for so long. He just knows what to do, when to do it, how the time is run, and that's what he's best at. And that's why I think him leaving would be a big loss. And I don't want him to leave, but I could just, for whatever reason, I can see a scenario where he does, which would be. Yeah. This happened in 2020. I remember as well, to the point where South were actually playing him off the bench, which was very. Like, I remember that period. That was after the Troll came and they were playing him off the bench, which was like...
Especially when Cody Walker's next to AJ, we know that's when he's at his best. So I think we should keep him just for one more year. It'd be great for the young halves and the young wingers.
I think we should try and keep him for the rest of his career.
And
it's tough, though, because you got young kids coming through, and do you risk losing them? So there's a world that, maybe for another year, who knows? He could come back and absolutely kill it for the rest of the year, or you could see someone like Hazen finally get his chance and South sign him and he won't look back. Similar to what happened to AJ. As soon as AJ got his chance, he never looked back, did he? And Nathan Merritt.
Nathan Merritt never played after Johnson.
He played. I think he played another one or two more games after that.
Maybe, because I'm pretty sure I remember he scored. He broke the record in Penrith, and I think that was his final game. But I might be wrong.
No, it wasn't. He played one or two more games because he scored another try after that. So, but anyway, we'll move on to the injury updates. South finally released a injury update today. It's been very far and few between. We haven't known much of what's going on, but the obvious one from last week is Pete Mamazelos. He's dislocated his right elbow. He's going for an MRI scan, so we still don't know the extent of the injury and how long he'll be out, but we expect that to be a bit of a stint on the sideline.
Probably 6 weeks. So I dislocated my elbow once, and that was 6 week recovery. So I'd say maybe for someone a bit older,
that's tough.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks, I'd say.
Wayne did say in the press conference that when he was doing the press conference, it still wasn't in place. So imagine the pain that he was going through. No doubt the green whistle come out.
Oh, the pain in that.
Yeah, I can't watch that stuff.
Yeah, we do wish him a speedy recovery. So I hope he's doing well now. The next one is the guy that we're just speaking about, Alex Johnston. He's due to return against the Tigers. Not too soon, so that'll be good. We're wondering whether he was going to be this week or whatever, but they've released now that he'll be back next week, so that's looking good. Then the other one, another winger that we lost is Michaeli Ravalawa. He's round 13, the week after the bye against the Warriors.
Yeah.
So that'll be timely return. And then against the Raiders, we got both Cody Walker and and Jack Whiten expect to be back. That's round 14. So we'll be getting some troops back in the next few rounds. We got as I said, we got the bye in round 12. It's just a matter of who's left by the time they come back. So there's always that
Yeah,
scenario. We
Yep.
keep losing players every week. We have lost a player, whether it be suspension or injury or a HIA. We
yeah.
haven't had any
I
luck
think
there.
we've missed about 95 to 100 games of experience since the start of the season. It's been horrid.
It has, and we welcome back, as I said, Jacob Host comes back this week. We didn't know what was happening with him. Shaq Mitchell came back last week. Latrell was obviously back from suspension. Jamie Humphrey's back this week, which is a timely return. So we are starting to get some troops back, and it's a shame because it would have been good to have a few troops back last week because I think that had we had a few more players last week, we beat the Knights.
Yeah, I
I
Yep.
think
know.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that sounds weird losing 30 points to 4,
A lot
but
of those tries were very soft, though, especially the
yeah.
ones early in the game. They were all very
Well,
ripped.
we also had a lot of ball in their 20 that we just had no creativity in the
Yeah,
halves, and I thought that was costly.
that's been a problem for quite a few weeks now as well.
I mean, you put Cody Walker, Jamie Humphries, and Latrell Mitchell in that side. It's a different story. We're
it's a
scoring points.
it's a
I
much
said in that first
16
half,
better
there was
point.
about 3 tries we would have scored, I reckon, if Walker and
Agree. Yeah.
Mitchell were playing.
Mm.
There was about 3 tries we would have scored there.
Mm. So anyway, we've got a few announcements to make. Our game against the West Tigers out at Campbelltown on Sunday week. We're having a meet up with the Ambush. We did it last year and it's quite successful. That's at the Beer Shed. My brother actually owns that, so
Good stuff.
it's a great little venue. They have a lot of music out there and they play a lot of live music out there. I've been there a few times. Obviously, I went out there and with my partner Pat and saw Andrew Farris from NXS out there and got to meet him and that. So they get a lot of good things there. I know the Ambush have a lot of functions out there. We've actually got Blake Solly going to make an appearance for that, our CEO. So that'll be good, and we'll have him on stage being interviewed. And make sure you guys get out there. And
Yeah, I think I will be able to make that one for sure.
Yep.
Mm.
Same in.
6:15 games, so yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing, the owner's a mad Rabbitohs supporter, even though he hosts the Tigers all the time. They only found out last year when Jai went on stage and that he was covered up, and then as he got up there, he opened up his jacket to reveal a South Sydney jersey. So they were all
Brilliant.
shocked that about that he was actually a South supporter. They always thought he was a Tigers fan. So, but it is a good event that we co-host with the Ambush, and guys at home, make sure you get out there. Everyone's welcome. Kids are welcome as well, as long as they're accompanied with an adult. So got that. And the scarves. We've still got a few more left. We sold a few up in Brisbane last week. We took a few up there, but it's definitely great, especially on TV when we all hold up the scarves and get a good view. So if you haven't got yours, they're $30 each.
I think it's supposed to be pretty cold this Friday, so I think we might see a few of
Great.
us there with them.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
speaking of cold, we're looking at doing some beanies now as well. So that's in the pipeline, and hopefully we get that underway soon and get them shipped out soon, and we can start selling them because as it gets colder, we definitely want those to warm our heads. So
Especially for Canberra, which is just in a few weeks.
yeah, definitely. I don't think we'll have it in time for that, but I'm
Well,
glad that Canberra's a bit earlier this year and not in the middle of winter. So
And it's
it's
not a
quite
night game
terrible around
either.
here.
well, we've got plenty of Friday night games in winter, so that'll help so much.
Definitely. But yeah, the scarves are great quality, and everyone's seen them on, and you can see there on the screen that what they look like there with Shaq holding it up. So um, get them before they do sell out because we don't have many more, and I doubt that we'll be getting another batch of those. So and lastly, we got the new podcast segment that I've been doing, getting to know the members. You've seen the one with Cody. We've already posted that up. I did one. I've done a few over the weekend, which we'll do. We'll release one each week. I've done it with Mick Tasker. I did one with Ruben, who's a regular on here. I've got to say the one with Ruben was probably my most enjoyable one. He was so animated. It was a great interview, and and his stories are great. Like everyone's story is a great story, but this one I really enjoyed, and no doubt you guys will be looking forward to seeing Ruben there.
Oh, I do.
And
Not wait
also
for it.
another one was Darren Finlay, who a lot of you may recognise his voice on Talkback Radio as Darren from Macfield. So did one with him, which was a very interesting one as well. So there's a few more. I'm going to get you guys on as well, and Lucas, and a few others that we're going to do over the years. So, but if you're interested in being part of that segment, please reach out to us. You can reach us out on the email below, or you can contact us on Facebook, on Twitter, or Instagram, or whatever. Just reach out to us if you want to be part of it. I'll make sure it happens. But we're interested in hearing all your stories and letting all the members know each other. What are you guys' thoughts on that segment?
Yeah, it's great. It gets everyone, well, getting to know each other, really. It helps everyone feel more connected. Obviously, everybody has the same passion. And with this sort of segment, you get to relate. You can relate to your fellow supporters and just brings a level of just more comfortable around the people because you know more about them so you can relate and it just makes it easier. So it's a good segment to have and getting to know everyone in our great supporter base.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting both your stories as well and sharing that so people can get to know you more. And I think it'll be a good thing where members can get to know each other. I'll be doing, and I'll be getting you guys to help me doing interviews after the game, getting people's reactions after the game, whether we win or lose, and putting a little compilation together. We're being more active now on social media, which is something we've probably neglected over the last few years, but we're definitely doing more now, and I think you guys all notice as well, and you guys are a big part of that as well. So I've got to say, you guys are doing a tremendous job here on the podcast with Luca and Ruben. Really have been enjoying it, and well done, guys.
And it's growing and it's going to get better throughout the year. So it's going to be good. It's good stuff.
I'll be more active on this as well to help you guys out in that, and whether it's me, Luca, or whoever hosting or whatever, we're going to make this thing work. And you, the listeners at home, we need you to like and subscribe. We need you to view it and that, and leave comments as well. Tell us your thoughts, what you want to see. If you've got any questions, reach out. We'll read your questions out on here and answer them for you. Those sort of things. So we're asking for more participation from people and get into the games, come and join us, stand, sing, create the atmosphere.
Come
I
to
can
the
only
gatherings.
yeah. Well, that's the big thing. We'll be doing more and more of those gatherings like we're doing with the beer shed, and hopefully we can get out there. Get out there at Accor and before the game, meet up at the pubs. But one of the things that's been a bit of a topic of debate at the moment is Allianz Stadium. There's a lot of talk about us moving back there. Just before we go, I just want to get all your guys' thoughts on that. First of all, CJ.
All right. Well, considering I live about half hour out from there, it'd be great. It'd be easier to get to. Look, I personally prefer Allianz Stadium. I think we'd be able to pack it out most weeks. I really do. Allianz, it's probably my favourite stadium to go to, if I'm being completely honest. So close to the ground, everything just feels it's great. The vibe's great all the time. It can be hell to get out of, but that's a part of it. And Allianz Stadium, well, look, I think it's a no-brainer. It's if the government's not going to upgrade the core, then we deserve to go back to where it all started.
Yeah. What about you, Cody?
Yeah, I'll have to agree with CJ on there. I mean, we were promised an upgrade. Well, the government promised to upgrade Accor over the couple of years, but unfortunately things have fallen through. And I think it'll be great for not just the fans, but also the players to play out at Allianz rather than out of the core. And I reckon we can get like a better turnout than what we do for most weeks out of core.
Oh, I think it's very beneficial for the borough itself, for us in the borough. The atmosphere we can create, the pubs around. There's a lot more pubs. The juniors going back and to and from the juniors after the game, having that's something that you guys never got to really experience. Was back in the day, we always went back to the leagues club from Allianz Stadium before, after the game. You get to see all the members there, whether it's the people from the Burrow. That it was a great thing and great part of that, and having that back would be good. But Zane, yourself, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's absolutely we should be going to Allianz. And I know the Roosters having their whinge, and they're protecting it, no one's allowed to touch this ground. But
Doesn't that
it's
make
just,
it better?
it just, South have played there and shared that stadium with the Roosters in the past, and it wasn't an issue. I know they got their facilities there, but South don't need to go near there. Second of all, it's a lot more convenient to get there, especially from Wollongong. It's just one straight train up. I don't have to switch at Redfern and switch at Strathfield and Lidcombe and all that. But I just think, I've said it for years. I've always just don't understand why South Sydney, who are playing out at Western Sydney, I think it's now that we've got the stadium there, we should be at Allianz. Surveys that they've done in the past, just fan polls, 92% on one of them said South should be playing at Allianz. The 8% were just Roosters fans who don't want us to touch it.
There you go.
But, the state government are supporting it. Albo obviously is in support of it. Even the NRL themselves are happy for South to play at Allianz. Everyone's happy for it except the Roosters, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
That's great. Anyway,
but I believe actually when they were originally going to upgrade Accor in 2020, because I remember they were going to. I forgot where we were going to relocate to, but
Parramatta were going to relocate for a couple of years.
Where to? Was it the
Parramatta
SCG?
CommBank.
CommBank, okay, yeah, but that got scrapped when COVID came. So since then, it's just been very confusing. We've just still been playing there, and it doesn't seem like they've got any ideas of what they're going to do.
I know Blake Solly's pushing for it, and he's been pushing for a while behind the scenes. So,
but our main issue with it is whether the arch rivals are going to. How they're going to feel about that happening.
It's got nothing to do with them. Exactly. It's all about. They
always give the argument we got a sign on the side of the stadium. I'm like, what about the sign? The sign can change.
Yeah, well,
they don't own the stadium. The government owns it.
But I just see some of their supporters who are holding this stadium and hissing if you go near it. No one's allowed to touch it. It's just our ground. I'm just okay, calm down. We share with the Bulldogs, who are. I've always said after the Rabbitohs, I'd say the Bulldogs are probably our second biggest rivals, and we do the forgot the word that it was, the reciprocal. We can do the same with the Roosters if they were happy to agree, but knowing them, they'd probably just say no, just out of spite. But
well, one thing I've been very, staunch on is that the Good Friday game stays at Accor. I think that's one thing that we'd be silly
because of the Easter show. Yes,
yeah, the Easter show on that, and we've had crowds of 50,000, and we had the one that was 65,000, and we keep that there, and that's one that we keep there because it is a tradition, and sometimes you don't mess with traditions, and traditions.
Well, I mean, the Tigers Eels Monday game, because I know the Tigers used to always play their home years at Accor, but they moved theirs to CommBank this year.
I didn't get that. I didn't get why they did that. I thought they should have moved that to Accor. I think that's a lot better.
Tigers, they just need to figure out which ground is going to be their home ground at this point.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's about enough for today. Just a quick prediction on the game on Friday night. Go with you, Zane.
Well, in my heart, I'll say Rabbitohs by 6. I'm going to say we get it done in the upset. That in my head, I'd probably. I won't even give my head prediction. I'll say in my heart, I'll go Rabbitohs by 6. I think we cause a big upset. Get it done.
You, Cody?
Well, I'm always backing us no matter what, whether we do crap or not. But time to smash Reynolds for how he portrayed us. Rabbits 13 plus, baby.
And you, CJ?
Oh, look, I don't like going to games with a mentality of, we're going to lose. So I'll back us in. I'll go South by 2 points. I'll go 22-20. I think a Latrell Mitchell penalty goal to win it in the end.
My prediction, I'm not going to predict the result, but I predict that Latrell Mitchell will score a try and set up a try. So
the edge is my big worry for this game. The edge, the Rabbitohs edge going up against that Broncos edge, because I watched the way they beat the Bulldogs, who were the best defensive team. They absolutely slaughtered them on the edge the other week. So, I have to wait and see, but I reckon they can
get it on Friday and get it done.
Okay, guys, that's enough for today, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm your host, Josh, joined by Cody, CJ, and Zane. Go the Rabbitohs.
Up the Rabbits.
South Sydney!